minutes of March 18th board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. The minutes for the workshop on April 9th.
So moved. Second.
Second.
Okay. April started out with many bumps in the road. We had an employee sign unexpectedly, leaving us with no paper trail of what had been done for violations, covenants committee, or for our upcoming activity events. I called people I knew who we could count on, and they were all only too happy to help us in the office, answering phones, opening mail, and helping Lori with data entries. Our thanks to Lois Pedruti, Nancy Formichello, Rita Fincy, June Messinger, Libby Grau, and Cindy Weeks, and Lori Roman. On April 9th, a workshop for the Board of Directors met to establish committees for the upcoming year and to discuss important issues that needed to be addressed. Topics discussed: Chairman Virgil Cohen, security, lighting issues, and future Comcast contracts. Miles Shack, Chairman, Water Management Negotiations. Chairman Don Walker, Infrastructure and Road Repairs. Chairman Jack Charles, Commercial Property, Resort Pools. Chairman Rich Goodwin of Finance, Audits, Accounting Reports. Bert DeFren, Legal Consultant, Government Relations. Dolores Castellonia, Customer Relations, Amenities and Activities. Okay, Treasurer's Report.
At the end of the first quarter, the income expense statement shows income at $1,120,279 and expenses of $1,056,350. The overall financial position regarding our cash liquidity and reserves remain very strong. The Finance Committee continues to work with the property manager on the current concrete repair project, as well as working on developing the next phase along with the funding requirements and options. In addition, the Finance Committee will be reviewing additional capital improvement projects with the objective to invest in new technology, contain current as well as projected future costs that result in additional expenses, investigate alternative energy sources, and ultimately develop and implement cost-effective solutions. We collectively are and have been in the past years proactive in dealing with our aging infrastructure. The rest of this I'll do in the committee reports.
Okay. Manager's Report.
Good news, it's spring. It's almost summer. The grass is growing. We're starting to mow 4 times a month. We're still trimming once a month. You're going to see some hard cutting starting in the next month or during this month and going into the next month, where flowering shrubs are maintained by trimming them back hard and letting the new growth move along and produce more buds. There'll be a article coming out in the next issue of the RiverWalk Talk that our Landscape Committee has put together. It's an interview with Matt Murphy, the owner of Southern Exposure, and I think it's going to answer a lot of questions as to why certain techniques are performed and what the purposes of them are. Irrigation, please keep an eye out. Make sure let us know about geysers. Anything you see, if your turf is not looking good or it looks like it's dry, please make sure you get to us so we can follow up on it. We have had several major breaks this month. We're using some fairly heavy equipment. We can no longer use sawzalls and hand saws to remove roots. We're using power equipment. Our root pruning machine is being pressed into service, and I hope the rainy season brings us some rain because we've experienced some major problems. Tower clock, man's coming tomorrow. It's Wednesday, and we're going to do the repairs and get the tower clocks working. This way, some of the people that are always asking me what time it is will be able to look up again and find out what time it is by the tower clocks. We're working in the front yards now, tree trimming. Something we added this year that hasn't been done for a long time was to remove the dead frond boots that were left on the sable palms. That's that loose debris that's falling down constantly and making messes. So we're stripping the trees as much as possible. There are some of them that are still quite healthy, the boots, and attached to the trees. We can't remove all of them. We don't want to damage the outer surface of the palm trees. Pretty soon we're going to start, just waiting for them to come in, they're going to start putting up new stop signs throughout the community. After anywhere from 15 to 19 years, the reflective ability of the signs is not good, and we're replacing those. Concrete repairs for the time being are finished. I expect we'll be starting concrete repairs in the next month and a half again, because we've already got new reports, and I'll be out surveying and marking. Until we resolve issues with the city and get some guidance from them, we're not removing any trees. However, I am hoping that they will work with us and allow us to remove enough trees so we can at least reduce the maintenance cost for now and in the future by about 50%. You should know that we're very close to, I'll exhaust the $100,000 line item very shortly. It'll certainly be before the end of June, and that means we could face another year like last year where we spent in excess of $200,000 fixing concrete that we know is going to break again. It's really important, and I hope we can get the city to work with us. The lawsuit, some of you may have heard, again, I've had realtors coming to me this week saying that, you know, there's people complaining that they're having trouble getting mortgages. A few people have had trouble. They're having to go out to other money sources that do not have as strict a criteria as some of the lenders that will loan the money for a lower percentage rate. The reason is that we're currently involved in litigation with a person from the community, and the information that the lenders are requiring is the kind of information that could be used to compromise and cause the association possibly to lose a suit. In the meantime, I'm referring all inquiries now to the attorney for our directors and officers insurance that's representing the association and the directors. We're out, our specifications have been put together, and we're out for bid. Don Walker and I spent quite a bit of time reviewing the roads throughout the community. We found that the next and most important areas to be serviced are the cul-de-sacs, the circles at the end of the streets. The approach to those and the circles themselves are chewed up pretty badly by the garbage trucks when they come in, and it generally is the garbage trucks. They have wide tires, they have a lot of wheels, and as they go around the circle, they're not actually rolling all the time, they're hopping to the side, and it does tear off a lot of the asphalt. I expect before summer that we will be working on replacing it. There'll be a minor inconvenience, but We had looked into seal coating, which is commonly used. It's not a real permanent solution. It is a temporary solution. However, we can put you back on the asphalt surface after it's paved within a few hours of it being finished, whereas the seal coat is a 48-hour dry time, and it would leave a lot of people off of their streets where we'd be working. Planting second phase is starting up, so for those of you that have gotten in work orders or areas where we found front yard plant replacement necessary, we are starting to do the second phase of it. I don't have anything else to report to the board. Do directors have any questions for me? Sorry.
Fire marshal? Do you want to bring up the fire marshal?
Oh, committee reports,
Okay, the committee reports, amenities and activities, and homeowners relations and service. Okay, on April 9th, the workshop, that I went through already, excuse me. Okay. As everybody knows, we were scheduled to have an Easter hunt for Palm Sunday, but we weren't able to do that. We did have it a week later. We had like 57 children, and of course, nothing had been done. There was no paper trail, no baskets, no candy, no nothing. So anyway, I called Lois Pederuti, who had done the Easter parties before with March, and she got her ladies together and did a hunt of their own for decorations, eggs, baskets, candy, gifts, stuffed animals, anything that could fit into a basket for a child. And Lois made the most beautiful ceiling decorations and table arrangements you can imagine. The ladies, Nancy Formicella, Florence Gersh, Linda Frano, and Lois, shopped till they dropped. The town center looked like a wonderland from a storybook. The Easter Bunny had a new costume that Lori had found online that was perfect, and her boyfriend, Tim, did a fantastic job as Peter Rabbit. The children could not stop shaking his hand and sitting on his lap, and some of the 23-year-old adults had a good time sitting on his lap, too. Anyway, the children had their faces painted by Face Magic. Rich Hardy had donated big Easter cookies of bunnies and eggs and juice. Each child went home with the big Easter basket, and combined with the chocolate bunnies and decorated cupcakes, we had many smiling faces. Our thanks to Southern Exposure, Titan International, the RiverWalk Italian American and Friends Club, and Bargain Bob's Carpet for donations. Thanks to the volunteers, Mary Ann Cupp and Geraldine. That's it. I'm sorry that our casino trip didn't fly, but maybe next time. That's it. Water management?
Thank you. Tomorrow night, we're going to have a water meeting. The city is coming down, and they will give us a presentation on the short-term and the long-term drought management plan. And also, they will be talking about the quality of the water that we've been getting out here. And that's been a big issue, as you know, from the reports that was in Palm Beach Post about 3 weeks ago. Also, we will also be giving a report on what actions we have taken to counter the county, System 8 well field drawdown on our lakes. This is what money we've spent and what we've done to counter that. And we'll also give you a small report on the FEMA floodplain maps. Just before they even tomorrow, we're not in a floodplain. The mayor's going to be here. Hopefully, Commissioner from the county, Commissioner Paula Burdick will be here, and will be some other people from the city who will be giving their presentation. I see Commissioner Keith James just came in. And so I hope you all can come out, because I think it's going to be a very interesting meeting, and you're going to get a lot of information that you never had before. So please come. I'm sorry, it's going to start at 7 o'clock.
Okay. Excuse me, Commissioner, would you like to get up and say a few words, please?
Thank you, I really didn't expect to, but I just wanted to stop by and say hello to everyone. And thank you. And this is, I always tell people when I go to these association meetings, this is really the heart of our country, our democracy. This is where the rubber meets the road. So I thank all of you for attending, taking time out of your schedules. I thank the board for all that you do to help this community become a better community, and I'm just here to observe and answer any questions that there might be. But again, thank all of you for your interest in your community. Doing a wonderful job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'd like to hear from Virgil Coney with regard to security.
I have no real formal report other than to say I'm very happy that after our big spike in activity during March, I'm not aware of any more incidents being reported. So it's magically gone away. Okay, I'm being corrected here.
No more incidents. Why don't you put in a plug to see if we can get more cops up here in the western area?
I think you just did.
Duly noted.
Right.
Okay, infrastructure, road repairs.
That would be long distance.
I had,
Don, maybe.
Don is out actually,
I thought
he's
Jeff-
out in the state of Washington investigating the effects of sinkholes on asphalt surfaces and ground areas. He's coming back with some new information, and we're going to make sure that we address that when we're doing the road repairs this year.
Great. Okay, commercial development.
Thank you, Madam President. Along with my duties as Chair of the Commercial Development, I've been assigned the task of overseeing our HOA buildings. As such, along with my committee members, I will be compiling a 3-phase inspection of our structures during the coming months. Also, during the next few months, the Commercial Development Committee, working with our Finance Committee and our Town Manager, will finalize plans to complete the promised renovation of our commercial kitchen. We also will be finalizing the new lease with the cafe owner. Thank you.
I'd like to
Pardon?
add on to that.
Sure.
I think this is appropriate. Dolores asked me to do this. This is more of a repeat of what we had done a few months ago regarding the cafe payment procedures. And I want to clear up any confusion or misunderstanding. I also want to note that overall the process has gone as designed and is going well. The homeowners at this time have received the 3 coupons totaling $120 sent to their known addresses. Notice I emphasize known addresses. The homeowner is to use the coupon provided and mail a separate check without their normal quarterly maintenance assessment to a different P.O. box number from the quarterly maintenance assessment. This is also clearly stated on the individual coupons. If a homeowner does not submit the payment with the coupons or clearly put a legible account number on the check that CAMS Plus could manually make the necessary correction adjustment, then it delays the entire process. In addition to a delay, another potential problem that we've seen can be the payment being misapplied based on incorrect account numbers. Now, the actual process which we've gone through, and it is no different than the normal quarterly assessment process. It is no different than what we did with painting or anything else. All we're doing is keeping it separate. The homeowner submits, first step, the homeowner submits payment with a coupon. The payment is processed normally the day received. The payments received that day are processed via the lockbox, which creates an electronic file. Accounting, in this case CAMS, receives the data file the following day of posting and uploads the data file that is sent to their system. At the end of the month, a bank reconciliation is done which reflects all payments received for the month and is compared to the data files and payments that were uploaded into the accounting system software. On the 15th of the following month, accounting then prepares a spreadsheet which provides Village Catering with all payments that have been made and properly recorded for the previous month. The 15 days allows the bank to close their month, mail a statement, and for the accounting to receive the statement and reconcile the appropriate account. Again, I emphasize, this is no different than what we do with our normal quarterly assessment, what we did with painting. And that's worked for 14 years, Jeff? So it shouldn't be new to everybody. But again, it's not a lot of people, it's a handful of people, but they get irate because they go in and they're trying to pick up a card and the card isn't ready. And a lot of the reasons is just what I said. They didn't submit the coupon, they didn't, on their check, put the coupon number, whatever the case may be, and it just delays and puts this into a manual process. And when you do that on anything, it's going to take a long time.
Okay. Thank you, Rich. The Government Relations Committee?
Len and I attended and he may have a different take on it. We attended the mayor's meeting with the Western communities, and I did not take away anything from that I think would send anybody into ecstasy. So.
Except crime is down about 0.1%.
Yeah, that was.
No.
Okay, well, I have some good news, some even better news, and some not so good news. Start with the good news. Roebuck Road and State Road 7, absolutely nothing has happened since last month. No money's been appropriated. No permits have been granted. It's still just on paper. Now, even better news. Rich, Jeff, pay very careful attention. City Watch has concluded negotiations with the city and the mayor, and the city administrator confirmed to me on Friday that next year's budget will include the funding for the total electric bill for the street lamps in the private communities. That translates into thousands of dollars here in RiverWalk. Now, not so good news. A couple of weeks ago, the county commissioners met as the Solid Waste Authority, and you may have read it in the paper, even though hundreds of people filled the room and spoke against the project. Interestingly enough, by coincidence, I was the first speaker and Keith James was the last speaker. And both of us spoke against the idea of the county importing trash from other counties to our landfill, which is only, as the crow flies, a few miles north of us. The commissioners voted 4-3 to ignore what everybody wanted and to go forward and issue RFPs, requests for proposals from Carter's as to whether or not they are willing. Needless to say, the one person who spoke in favor of the project represents a carting company that wants to bring in biomedical and chemical waste from Georgia. Last week, a miracle happened. The County Planning and Zoning Commission met to discuss the project known as Minto West. That's directly west of us, used to be called Callery Judge. Where they currently have a permit to build a little under 3,000 homes, and they want to build over 6,500 homes. So they've asked for a waiver. The staff of the County Zoning and Planning Commission recommended that the waiver be granted, and even though the audience was split, there were people wearing shirts saying no to Minto and people wearing shirts saying yes to Minto. The commission voted 11-0 to deny or to refuse to give the staff permission to go forward.
Good.
The people, it was found out later that the people with the blue shirts saying yes to Minto came on a bus from as far away as Dade County. They were paid to attend the meeting by the developer. Today I met with County Commissioner Jeff Santa Maria, who represents the communities west of us, Royal Palm Beach West, all the way out past the Glades. And I said to him, just since the Zoning and Planning Commission voted 11-0 against it, what do you think the county commissioners will do? Of course, they're meeting this week. He said they're going to ignore it. They're going to approve it. So unless in the ensuing months more pressure can be brought on the county commission, Minto West may be building thousands of homes, and that impacts us because not only is it a drain on the obvious infrastructure, their water comes from right underneath our lakes, Wellfield Lake. So there's going to be another strain on our lakes when that project is built. Sorry to end on a bad note.
Thanks, Len. Okay, board actions. Cafe, the hood installation to comply with NAFA and the West Palm Beach code requirements.
I move that we award a contract to Atlantic Coast Services of Miami, Florida to furnish and install a range hood, fire suppression, and kitchen ventilation system in the cafe kitchen for a cost of $18,900 plus permit-related fees and taxes. The equipment is necessary to comply with the fire marshal and code enforcement requirements along with the HOA's property insurance carrier stipulation.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Well,
I guess I'd like to have some discussion. I guess I have a question, too.
I think someone has to second that.
Yeah, okay.
Why don't I second it for
did.
purposes,
It's
good.
been seconded.
All right.
Yeah. Does this represent the completion of our obligation relative to upgrades to the kitchen?
no.
What remaining expenditures are there beyond this?
I think those are all part of the architect's rendering and whatnot that would be done at a later date. But I think what we need to do is satisfy this requirement so we can continue to operate in a safe manner, if you will, and basically go slow.
I assume we're going to own the stuff being,
Yes.
okay.
It's our structure, so yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Going to be a permanent fixture in there.
Okay.
I have one question. When we were at the workshop, we discussed this, and we talked about delaying it until which time as the 120 days was over, because of the possibility of somebody grabbing a hold of them, some creditor probably grabbing hold of this money. What has changed in that since that discussion?
Well, that's,
I've been involved in this as much as anybody.
Yeah, go ahead.
The association is purchasing the equipment. Who said that?
Sandy?
I'm sorry, Steve. The association is purchasing the equipment. We're also paying to have the equipment installed. It's being installed as a permanent fixture on the building. It is owned by the real estate owners, who is the RiverWalk Homeowners Association. It's not anything that Mr. Hardy is putting into it, so it's ours.
Okay, but at the same time, I also have a little question, wondering, before, when we went out to the homeowners and it was brought to the meetings, that was told to us at the meetings that Mr. Hardy was going to put in a certain amount of money and we were going to put in the rest. I know Mr. Hardy has financial problems. How, if anything, are we going to be able to get anything out of Mr. Hardy if we're going to put everything in? That's my only question. Because it was stated that we were going to get a certain percentage, and we were going to put a percentage of the money in towards fixing the kitchen, being just the kitchen, just talking about the kitchen. And that right now, I'm not going to go any further than that. I'm just, that's my concern, and that's.
Let me answer that if I may.
Go ahead.
When this was originally brought out, the HOA was going to pay for the build-up, which included the hood, which included any electric that had to be brought back there, included any plumbing that had to be redone, and any HVAC that had to be changed. Things that were having to do with our building.
That was already done, paid for
It
by the
was?
HO. Yes. The plumbing, the electric was
So
all...
I didn't realize that we have additional plumbing to do, we have additional electrical to do, we've got additional HVAC work to do.
Okay.
Okay? That is upcoming toward completion, but that's not tonight. Rich Hardy is supplying the cooking utensils.
Okay.
The stoves, the refrigerators, the deep fryers, the, all of that. He is supplying all of that as his part. Okay? But right now, this is something that the HOA is putting into its own building and owning it.
Do we have a business plan as yet for the cafe operation? So that all of this doesn't come as a surprise, that we know
This is no surprise.
Well, I mean,
This
do we...
is what was brought up months and months and months ago.
Do we have a plan in terms of going forward?
And I think we're executing that, but we're doing it in a very slow stage fashion from a standpoint of only what we absolutely necessarily have to do. And that's basically keeping status quo as far as what he's doing. We're not putting in stainless steel, whatever the case may be. It's a matter of basically satisfying
This is
the
all used
requirement.
equipment anyways.
So you're comfortable with
I am,
what's happening?
I am.
As I recall, when we were talking about this a few months ago, the ballpark estimate was like $40,000.
That's correct.
And
Actually-
this is about half of that. So I assume we've got about another $20,000 to go relative to the air conditioning and whatever else needs to be done.
I'm not comfortable with that other part of it, and that's why I'm not going to comment on any of it from a standpoint that, does it make sense to do all this? No, it doesn't, and we shouldn't.
Right. No, I would agree with this. My understanding is that we need to do this in order to keep him operational
Yeah.
in business, to
Yeah.
comply with the
We have to
codes.
comply.
Right. So, yeah, it seems like a no-brainer then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Jeff, did you want to discuss about the Fire Marshal Calderon?
It's kind of a sore spot.
I can make that motion. Motion to table.
The
If you second it.
city code enforcement came in and on a anonymous complaint, which RiverWalk has lots of those, and inspected the cafe. He found virtually nothing in terms of violation of code. Apparently, the fire marshal's office was also contacted with an anonymous complaint. They did come in. Sue Ellen Calderon is one of the marshals that came in, and she inspected not only the cafe, but every single building in town center. We've had minor sites in our buildings. I did find out that water-stained ceiling tiles are a violation of fire code. And that was the bulk of what we had. Our extinguishers were in order. However, in the inspection of the cafe, she indicated that some of the type of cooking that's being done in there now could no longer be done in there unless the hood and exhaust system to evacuate grease smoke and the fire suppression system to combat a fire, should there be a cooking fire underneath it, had to be done. She's given us 30 days to apply for the permit, and that is what hopefully will be voted on tonight to get this project going.
I got one more question to ask. This is electrical hood, I imagine everything is electric. We got the, as an electrician, are we all wired for that right now, or is the contractor putting that in, or how are we doing that?
The only thing in that hood, Miles, that's electric will be the exhaust fans.
Yeah, okay. So in other words, we have there's no problem with the electric.
We're set for that.
Okay.
The cooking utilities will be otherwise.
That's a different story. Okay. Thank you.
Miles?
Yeah.
Just to follow up on your initial question, and I think you were talking about timing and whatnot, we
Yeah.
are close to that,
Okay.
120 days.
Yeah, I thought we were May something, wasn't it? Okay, thank you.
Okay, now, public comments.
Let's vote.
No, we have to vote on it.
We have to vote.
I got carried away.
Yes.
Okay. Let's vote.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried?
Unanimous.
Okay.
Now you can
So
go.
go ahead. Now we have public comments. Phyllis?
Is this on? Okay. During this past March 18th board meeting, Don Walker said that concerning the lawsuit, quote, "A buyer was unable to obtain a mortgage because of the lawsuit," and any further commentary was voted down by the board. Yet, on the first page of the April issue of RiverWalk Talk, there is an expanded report of the proceedings of the March 18th board meeting on the subject of the lawsuit filed by homeowner Jack Stein, and which elaborates that a lot of time, and presumably a lot of our homeowner funds, have been spent speaking to and providing evidence and answers for attorneys representing Mr. Stein. However, all that added verbiage denigrating Jack Stein was not part of the videotaped record. This doctored-up board report is now incomplete and misleading. Any homeowner wishing to visit the 15th Circuit Courthouse on Olive Street can readily, in downtown West Palm, can readily discern that this lawsuit did not begin with homeowner Jack Stein. It began with a lawsuit filed by board member Jack Charles on December 13, 2013, case number 2013-CA018250, in his alternate role as owner of Bargain Bob's Carpets, which company, I submit in a conflict of interest mode, has been awarded multiple flooring contracts by this board. And Mr. Stein, Jack Stein, has simply and necessarily filed a counterclaim lawsuit against Bargain Bob's and this entire board. Mr. Charles, have you ever had any financial interest, or do you plan to have a financial interest in the future in any of Richard Hardy's corporations?
I think I answered that completely, what was it, 4 months ago, 3 months ago?
4 months ago.
4 months ago?
You
I
never-
answered it completely.
You never had, and you don't intend to
I
have?
answered that completely 4 months ago.
Where?
Here.
Right here, the board meeting.
I'll have to look it up. I don't recall, and I've been to the meetings. Okay, so in accordance with Florida law, Title 40, Chapter 720.3033, why are all these multiple board flooring contracts being awarded to you and not first presented at our board meetings? Why are they not indicated in the accounting records sent to the audit firm? If this board now contends as a cover-up and tactical escape maneuver that legal issues may not be discussed at these board meetings, then why was this lawsuit issue so brought up at the March meeting and so reported later as denigrating to Jack Stein? The homeowners want transparency and honesty.
All right, Phyllis, that's it. And this is not a court hearing? and he's not on trial.
And you don't
Okay.
need to address me about what I said.
Anybody else? Yes.
Didn't realize. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I would just like briefly just to bring the parking of the passenger pickup trucks overnight up for the community for a vote, and I understand.
Excuse me, I didn't get your name.
I'm sorry, Michael Byrne?
Are you a homeowner?
Yes, I am. 2789 Irma Lake Drive.
And you're a homeowner?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay.
And your name?
Michael Byrne?
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, Jack. So I wrote an article in the past RiverWalk talk about the, you may have read it if you read the RiverWalk talk about the parking of passenger pickup trucks in the, on the homeowners' driveways between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m. And from what I understand, I need to have the board put it up for a vote for, to the community. And I can't do that myself, from what I understand. I have to have the board do it. So that's what I'm
Well, most of
asking for
them,
now.
from what I understand from Bert, it was negative. They didn't want it.
That's not true.
People didn't want it.
That's not true.
Well, the response we got. You don't know that. You didn't know what we got as a response.
Hold it. I think what Bert said, correct, Bert, is that basically we needed some kind of canvas to come to the board and find out whether it was worth sending out. What we would have to do is amend our documents, and that's a few $1,000s to do that.
I understand that.
And if that's been done, show us, and, we'll carry it, but I don't think that's been done yet.
I
I don't know.
had promised that I would make a motion for you.
Yes, sir.
To get the board to vote on whether or not they wanted to send this out.
Right.
And if you insist, because I promised, I'll do it at our next meeting, but I polled our board, and the board is mostly negative.
Okay, well, with all due respect, Bert, I did as best I could an informal poll, via the RiverWalk talk. It's been, about a month now, 3 weeks? I haven't, obviously, there's several more weeks before the next RiverWalk talk comes out, and I'll post another article on that. But so far, I have, based on the responses, and I didn't expect a huge response, obviously, because most of the people, really don't respond, even though they may have a strong feelings one way or the other, they wouldn't write in. So, and I estimate that probably about 5% or less of the people will actually, post a comment, which I asked for. And at this point, 58% are for easing the restriction, and a little over 42% are against it.
I'm not sure.
And I think I have, people here already, even just at this meeting, that showed up to support
That's
that.
all well and good, but I think our documents state if you wanted to get something posted, I think
Okay.
what you would have to do is probably get a petition signed by members, and I think you would at least need to get about 10% to sign a petition.
Sure.
To bring it to us, to the board, so we could put it on an agenda item or make a motion to do that.
That's what happened with the playground.
That's the way to do
Okay,
it.
well, it was, I must have misunderstood. I thought when I was here last month that it would have to be, one of the board members had to suggest, and another one had to, second it. But
No. I would,
Okay.
something on this issue that we have to change our documents. That means it gets to go out to 51% of our homeowners.
I understand that.
Have to prove it. We couldn't just arbitrarily do it. We would like to see at least 10% of the homeowners with a petition, signed with a name on there of the homeowners. And when I say 10%, you only have one voting member. In other words, it's not if you have a husband and a wife.
I understand
only
that.
one. So that's
Right.
what I'm trying to get. That's all. That's all. That's what we would need.
Does it have to be an official petition?
No.
Because each homeowner that owns a truck on a block could just physically knock on their neighbor's doors and get each block signed up like that.
Absolutely.
Whatever you feel is the best way you could stay at the post office. Whatever you feel is the way you can get that. But that's what we would need, at least 10% of your homeowners in this community, okay?
Very good.
Okay. So, again, just to iterate, Miles?
Yes.
So I wouldn't actually have to have an actual signature. I would just have to have the approval that, the
No,
people...
we wouldn't want a signature.
Oh, an actual signature, okay. So physically...
An address and a signature.
So physically, hopefully a group of us will assist in doing that, like on their own particular block. That would be wonderful, because,
Don't forget to emphasize what he just said is it has to be a voting member.
the voting member would be a homeowner.
Yes.
Yeah, but,
Right.
but
As opposed to, you mean as opposed to a renter?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I understand that thoroughly. That was the point you were making, an owner versus a renter, right?
well, that's part of
Yeah.
it. But I mean, from a standpoint of what we have on file is really the voting member is what he's saying is and emphasizing is it's got to be the voting member. In other words, I think he said is you just can't have a husband and wife. It's
No.
gotta-
I understand that. Yeah, it's a household.
Either one or all.
Obviously, right, yeah, right. Quick sideline here. A couple of people that wrote back in support of easing the restrictions have a home both here and up north. And they wrote to me, they're actually not here now because they're up north. So I would actually have to have that actual signature coming back from, because they won't be here back for 6
We'd
months.
have to get a signature or proxy of some sort.
Jeff, did you want to address that?
Mr. Burns,
Sure.
we've talked about this
Right.
when you first came
Yeah.
to me and asked me what to do, and at that time it suggested that by petition, you could approach the board and ask the board to put it out to a vote. At this point in time, I just want to clarify something. The petition that was done to accomplish the playground was done with volunteers, many of whom stood in front of the post office. Please make sure when you have your petition prepared that you've got 2 columns. John Smith, 1767 Irma Lake, right out. So you have
Sure.
a name and an address, because that's the only way that can be verified if it were to be checked. But at least this way we know that you're not standing in front of the public's.
Oh, I understand, right, yeah, sure, right.
If they'd like a truck in their neighborhood.
No, so ballpark, I need roughly 128 signatures, that's what you're telling me, correct?
No, when I got it for the playground, I had to have over 600.
Well, there's 12,
Over 600 I had to have.
okay, well,
Because we have 1,367 homes.
No, that's 10% of 13.
10% would
Why
be
you put
100.
10% when we're
Just- We're not voting on it. It's just petition to get us to go and make a motion. It's
I
not.
stand corrected.
Okay,
We're not
right,
I
voting.
did have to get over 600.
That's gonna go out to there.
right, okay.
You got to start.
You gotta start something,
Have my pad.
Yeah, okay,
all right?
good, all right.
In other words, a couple of hundred would do it.
Yeah, well,
You had 200 signatures, be happy.
but yeah, 130 at the minimum, right? Okay?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it.
Where's she going?
Hi, I'm requesting a minute and a half. Michael had about 10 minutes to talk. I'd like to speak for another minute and a half. I think it's only fair. Thank you. Board member Jack Charles stated at the November 2013 board meeting, quote, "Not one single dime of association or membership money is going to the cafe. So why are you bringing it up tonight to spend more than $20,000 for new ventilation for the cafe without notification to we homeowners, and we should have a vote. There's a place in the Florida statutes. Are you aware of it? I'll send you the number. You're supposed to have us vote on extra monies to be spent. So that's what I want to bring up.
Huh?
I'm telling you that I have the tape that at the November 2013 board meeting, Mr. Charles stated not one dime is going to be spent by us anymore for the cafe. I have it on tape.
Good, I want you to bring it in. I'd like to view it.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Move to adjourn.
May I?
Yeah, go ahead, Jack.
Take my right as a resident.
Yeah.
Should do it. Start the clock. Don't do it.
Jack, I think you just called.
No, I just,
You're just going to perpetuate the...
yeah. People have to understand there's a difference between Jack Charles and Bargain Bob's. They are two totally separate entities. Bargain Bob's sued Jack Stein because of slander and torturous interference in a business relationship. Not Jack Charles. Bargain Bob's sued him. No, you didn't. The other thing that I want to mention is Bargain Bob's has not been awarded a single contract in here in over 2 years. Thank you.
Okay, we are adjourned.
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I speak for a minute or no? Most of you guys know me. I want to thank Bargain Bob's because I just used you to put Brandy Corpin in my chiropractic office on Corporate Way, and he did a great job. Didn't do it because you're on the board. We don't have a personal relationship. Your bid was the best. Okay, I'm for the pickup truck change. And the reason why is my husband drives a pickup truck. He is not a Loxahatchee redneck. He is a New York City boy. We like pickup trucks because we're Home Depot junkies. We like to go over there and buy stuff, haul it home. We don't want it in my BMW. We want it... Anyway, bottom line, it's a stick shift. He got sick. He went to bed early. I stopped the tow truck. I had to give him a tip to not tow me, to unhook me. I don't want to live like that here. I think we're not commercial. He doesn't use it for commercial reasons. The black Toyota Tacoma small thing with the back seat. It's hip. It's happening. It's today. It's people drive pickup trucks. It's not the worst thing in the world. The board laws or 1980 invented no pickup trucks to keep riffraff out. I understand that, but it's time to change. That's why I have to say thank you.
We're adjourned.